guys, it's Sierra. Welcome back to another episode of Run, Thrive, Survive. As always, we are here to run our lives and not let life run us. I've got an awesome guest. We're in studio today, so we're actually in person. And his name's Isaac, and we were together at a gym, and now we're out doing our own thing. So I want to welcome Isaac here on the podcast. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, so I want to break the ice. Ask you a question that I ask everybody. What would you mandate for mental health?
If I was to mandate things for mental health, I would, people should have a way of escape, right? And I feel like it doesn't have to always be productive. I know some people like to watch TV, some people, just something that you could disconnect, preferably away from the phone, because the phone, it adds entertainment, but it also adds a lot of people's opinions and things like that. So something that's not opinion-based, in my opinion, just something you could just let go. Watch some Seinfeld or something. I don't know. Something that could just laugh and just kind of, unplug. Read a book. Obviously for me, that's a lot more with the gym.
You brought up a good point. If people are on Instagram all the time, their mental health is probably declining.
Right.
Because it's just not good for you.
No.
And I think that's what we see in this generation, which is a really good segue into what we want to talk about today.
Correct.
Is kids in fitness.
Right.
What do you see? Because I know you have your own business. Mm-hmm. So what kind of demographic do you work with, and how does this relate to the idea of kids being more, I guess, trying to get more movement out there because they just haven't been lately?
Right. So I work with kids from age of 14 and then, of course, into the adulthood and up. With the kids, I work with a lot of athletes, and, that's a lot different. Their mindset sometimes is a lot more as far as as an adult-like mindset, because they put these kind of stressors on them to perform at a certain capacity. And they understand that because their parents have hired my services to do so. So it's not like they're just coming to me to do a little something. They want their athlete, to perform better. So they understand the stressors behind that, our training and things like that. So I try to make it, militant, because the job needs to be done, but I also don't want them to think that, they can't even sneeze in front of me,
Well, let me ask you this. So when the kids come to you, is it mostly their parents pushing them to get to you, or did they want to come to you? Because there's a fine line, and if they're going to be able to keep this going for the rest of their lives, if their parents are pushing them and if they're pushing themselves.
So the best thing, word of mouth really works. So, one of my first athletes, he came from one of my powerlifters that was with me. They kind of recommended, and I met him first, and then he told his parents about me, and then, the rest was history. So, I would say, as far as people meeting me first and getting to know me or seeing what I do for others, and then that kind of just draws them to me.
Are you seeing any trends in, let's stick with people, let's say 18 and under, your clients that are 18 and under, are you seeing any trends with them? Are they really into fitness, or are they into it to look good? Because at that age, it's a very fine line of, I know I need this for the rest of my life to stay healthy, versus, hey, look, my butt's really nice looking, so I'm going to put it on Instagram.
That's a really good question. So with a lot of the kids that I work with, it's mostly just athletics. They want to, if they run a time, I'm using hypothetical numbers. If they run a minute, they want to run 50 seconds, 40 seconds. They want to shave time off of their runs, or they want to hit harder, things like that. The older clients that I work with are the ones that are telling me, I want my butt to look good, and, I want to look good in a bikini, So that is an interesting dynamic. The kids I work with aren't really worried about that.
So what you're telling me is all these mean things we've said about Gen Z and millennials about just looking good on Instagram may not be true. It's really the older generations that are like, hey, I need to look good for Instagram.
Yeah, no, seriously, yeah. And I mean, as far as my experience is concerned, working at a commercial gym, you do see, a lot of that type of element where, they're posing in the mirror and things like that, which is cool. You know what I mean? I just, to the mental health aspect, I just hope that they do it and see themselves in a certain light, and not so much worried about how many likes I get on Instagram or how many people are going to say I look good.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, because I feel like this is kind of prevalent outside of the people we train. How do you see fitness in, I guess, the Gen Z generation overall? Because we have one side that are powerlifting, they're going out, they're athletes, but the other side, it seems like they've almost given up on any type of movement. People don't even like to go golfing or bowling or activities because you can just sit at home on Netflix or on Instagram. How do you see that trend? Do you think it's actually becoming a problem, or do you see it changing?
Oh, no, it's a big problem, because part of it, too, is everybody got their phone out, and if I do something stupid at the gym, they're going to record me and put it on a meme. and I'm gonna be the guy that did this thing wrong. So
this is true.
We already walk into the gym, especially being a brand new person to the gym. You walk in with a sense of like, you're scared. You're like, dang, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what to do. True. And now on top of it, anyone at any given time could record me doing something poorly, and I'm gonna be the butt end of a joke.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that goes through people's minds. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's pretty sad to me. I don't know. I think everyone should have a certain bit of confidence, but that's what I do. You know what I mean? Right. I want to help people feel confident inside the gym.
No, I didn't even think of it that way, to be honest with you. Most people are intimidated to go into a gym, but I didn't even think of, what if somebody's recording me because I'm doing this exercise completely wrong, and you show up on Reels and it's you, and you're like, oh no, this is me, because you just didn't know. So I guess at what point, when you're talking to these kids, what are their intentions with fitness other than athletics? Are they realizing that it can help their mental health, or are the kids still focused in just the athlete part of it? Like, how is it changing them over time?
You got some good questions. I would say for the most part, it's hard for me to answer that question because the kids that I deal with are simply based on the powerlifting side, where they have a goal. And I feel like when you set goals like that, it's a lot easier to kind of stay on track.
Big time.
And numbers don't lie. With a powerlifting aspect of training, if today I lifted 100 pounds, in a month I lift 150, I've gotten stronger. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's already a big confidence booster. No matter how I look in the mirror, I know I'm getting stronger. So I would say, as far as Gen Z is concerned, it's a big mix of the two, right? They want to look good, but they also want to be strong, because a lot of these other social media, entities or whatever you want to call them, are out there, and like Larry Wheels or whatnot, putting up all this weight. Talking about him earlier, throwing all this weight up, and kids are like, I want to do that. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think people are starting, like, slowly and surely, people are starting to realize, yes, this person is lifting. How much do you say Larry does? I don't want to.
Well, one of his best lifts is a 900-pound squat.
Yeah, like, most people can't just go out and do that. Right. Actually, nobody can just go out and do that. Right? No. You have to build yourself up to get to that point. Now, are you seeing like a change with people that you start with? So your clients that you have now, seeing a change in their, I guess, more of their behavior and confidence over working with them? What does that look like for some people?
Oh yeah, that's just awesome. Especially with the kids, when they see that they can do things differently, or they're seeing progress, they get real confident, and that starts to really take a big, you can see it. It's almost like, night and day.
Yeah. Have they, what do they say about it?
Nothing.
They don't notice.
They probably do notice, but they don't want to bring light to it. So they probably, they just kind of like, I'll say like, man, good job, and you'll see they like, oh, all right, but they're not going to say, my one athlete does. I have an athlete that, he's always like, thank you so much, and things like that. Yeah, because he's in 10th grade and he's already getting college acceptance type things, because they're looking at him, and
for powerlifting.
No, he plays lacrosse.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I didn't know people accepted people into college for powerlifting. I've never heard that before.
But they don't. No.
Well, if you think about it, the people in the gym, and a lot of people say this, the people that show up at the gym every single day, even on their days off, that they, they're still doing other things, stretching, whatever, recovery. Those people are so dedicated. And I've heard different companies start saying they can't base it on that, because that's obviously some sort of discrimination at some point. If you ask somebody, do you work out, versus another client or employee that doesn't work out, you can't just be like, oh, I'll take the one that works out. But it shows dedication, persistence, and overcoming a lot of obstacles, which makes a better worker. Do you see this also with them in school? Like, are you kind of hearing their side of school? Like, does it seem like they have better grades? Like, how does that go?
one of my clients, his mom was saying that she noticed that in school he's been doing a lot better.
Wow.
And he's been able to focus, and like that's something that
that's huge.
That is huge.
It's huge,
because I feel like you're finding an outlet. You're finding something that you can do with your time, and something different, getting to move. I don't think people understand too that not even just for a hypothetical speak of how you feel at the gym, like science, it's proven, endorphins are released from your brain after exercise. Like, it's a thing, getting into the habit is the hardest part, but once it's in there and that's cycling and you're feeling it, you're like, damn, you know what, this is awesome.
I think it's so interesting because schools don't teach habits, they just teach processes. So, and I think this is why people, like, when I was in school, I hated PE. Like, you could not get me to do PE. And my PE coaches probably think it's a joke that I run marathons now, because they're like, she never even showed up for the mile. She never ran that mile. Like, one guy literally told me, he was like, if you don't run this mile, you will fail PE. And I was like, how do you fail PE? You don't run the mile. So in my head, I was forced to run it. But like, I think that's what's happening to a lot of kids, is they're forced to do things in school and they don't want to keep it outside because they're like, oh, well, I had to do that in school. Like, I hated it. So with these people that are these kids that are powerlifting, it takes so much dedication for them to actually be like, okay, well, maybe I didn't like PE, but I like this. So, you know, you have to find your little niche. So with powerlifting, because that's a whole different realm, I'm actually not super familiar with. What does it do for kids, I guess, physically, mentally? Because you always hear, well, if you lift heavy, you're going to hurt yourself. How does that affect kids?
So
teenagers. We'll go teenagers.
Teenagers, yeah.
Kids to us, we're old. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. Jeez. And it's like you said earlier, they see the guy lifting 900 pounds on the internet and they want to try it, right? I obviously, not for self-purposes only, but I do advise anyone to get a trainer or a coach to start out with. Because it's all about the process. Right. And, you know, if you get the right kid that understands that, you're not going to lift that today, but if you stick with this and you're consistent enough, it will happen. And, you know, you will get stronger. Will you squat 900 pounds? I don't know. That's a lot. But, you know,
maybe someday if that's your goal.
Yeah, maybe someday that's the goal, right? But you will get stronger if you're consistent. If you do what they call like ego lifting and try to do crazy stuff, you're going to hurt yourself and you're going to limit your progress, right? So, you know, there's a sense of being patient. You know, a good coach will teach a lifter how to use each of those things as far as the mental aspect. There's a time for patience, there's a time to be relaxed, and there's a time to be aggressive, you know.
Right. Now, can you tell us I guess we have definitions. You can always look up definitions, but can you tell us the distinct difference between powerlifting versus weightlifting in general? Because so many people will think weightlifting, powerlifting, oh, it's the same thing. Like, what do you want? You know, but it's not. No.
So I would say there's even we'll go with 3 categories.
Okay.
So we'll say weightlifting, which is a clean and jerk and a snatch. So that's what you see on the Olympics.
Okay.
So that's Olympic weightlifting. Then powerlifting is squat, bench, and deadlift. And then bodybuilding and aesthetics.
I knew I missed something.
So you know, most people that don't have a goal of hitting big numbers and just want to look good will fall more into the bodybuilding aesthetic type of area of training, where more isolation movement and things like that.
Right. And I guess for powerlifting, what would powerlifting include then?
The squat, the bench, and the deadlift.
Oh, wow.
And of course, accessories to help out with weak points. Because that's all. And that's another thing as far as ego is concerned. In order to get stronger, you have to know where you're weak at. You have to hit weak points in order to get stronger. If I'm a lifter and I got these ginormous quads, but my hamstrings and my glutes don't fire correctly, I'm never going to be as strong as I can be. And if I keep hitting those areas because it's fun or I like it, that's what most people do, right? They go into the gym and do what they want to do. You know, but you have to, in order to get stronger, you have to do what you don't like to do.
Oh, I love that. It's like we need to put that on a canvas quote right behind us, right? No, I seriously, most women, I'm not calling us out, ladies, will go in and do leg day all day long. And I always like to do, talk about the cable, kickbacks. They'll wrap the cable around their foot and they just sit there holding the bar and they just kick back the whole time. And I'm like, I swear to God, you did that every single day this week and it's just not changing you.
It's not gonna work.
It's not. It's your glutes aren't weak at this point, but your upper body probably is, because I never see anybody lift. And I think that's such a huge thing that you just said. We need to work on things we're weak on. Now I have to ask you, because we're all in our little niches, right? The people that do powerlift. How did there's got to be some stories you've heard of how they found powerlifting as their favorite. What is it that draws them to powerlifting versus running? Maybe it's they hate running or cardio, things like that. But what is it that draws them to powerlifting versus other things?
I would say for the most part, and I don't know where this falls in the mental health area, but it's the aggression, right? They're able to be aggressive somewhere in a controlled environment. Right? You know what I mean? I can, without going to jail or hurting somebody, I can let off all my aggressions out and I can, lift as heavy as I want. That's why, powerlifting gyms, more so than commercial gyms, you're allowed to be a little more freer with that stuff, right? You know, you can, you know, there's gonna be some screaming, there's gonna be some yelling, some slamming the weights, because, you know, people set goals out, and when they hit them, you know, the adrenaline rush is, I can't explain it. You know, I wish everyone at one point in their life would experience what that feels like.
I mean, oh man, that does sound, because there are a lot of things like pent up anger that people have. Like, where it's not, it doesn't make you weird. It doesn't make you wrong. Everybody has pent up anger, and they let it out at some point. Like runners, the faster we run, sometimes the better you feel because you're just angry at something and you're running fast. So it's kind of not the exact same situation, but like I get it. You're chasing after that feeling.
No, I would say it's pretty similar because, like, for you, right? You know, shaving minutes or seconds off of your time, that's awesome, especially in running. You know, shaving seconds off is significant.
Every second counts.
And you're like,
running.
Damn, you know, before I did this at this time, and now I'm doing this at this time. You know, you get hype.
Yeah.
The adrenaline rush.
And with the kids, like let me ask you this. Like, are a lot of the kids, when they come to you, can you tell that maybe they are angry about something, or maybe they have stuff going on? Because we never know what's going on in somebody's world, especially as a teenager. It's a lot more difficult to process things because we don't know emotions. Do they make it apparent that they need this outlet, or are they just coming and saying like, hey, I want to do this, and then they're starting to like realize it as they go?
They probably know it before they sign up with me, but I don't learn it until they go.
Okay.
When I see them in certain situations that I put them in and how they respond to them is how I start to know what the mental make of an individual is. I can start to see if, you know, this is something that you're doing it for fun, or if you're doing it because it's a, you know, I get to see, if you need it or not, right?
Right. And how often do you see things like this come out?
It's really only on like max attempt days when they have to like hit a number, or not even just hit a number, but they want to get a personal best. You can see how they respond to the adversity of not being able to, or, you know, having to grind and work a little harder than they thought they had to.
Yeah, no, that's there's so much to be said that there's people that will, when they're in those situations, they just stop and quit because they're like, I can't do this. They can't hold the stress. But like those people that just like, are like, I can do this. It's like almost like they're reaching down and finding more pain, not pain, but like just a sense of like, there's nothing more painful than this other feeling I've felt, so I can get through this.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
And I guess, what was your journey into powerlifting?
So I got into weightlifting first.
Okay.
So I guess back it up. When I was about 18, when I was younger, I didn't really play much sports. I played rec ball when I was like from 10 to like 16.
Okay.
I was like, must have hit puberty early. I was tall, and like all the other kids were like shorter, and I was like, yeah, man. And then like at 16, everyone kept growing. And I was like, dang, I guess basketball is not really for me. So then I got into boxing, and I boxed for a little while, and then when I stopped that, one of my friends, the one actually my mentor, I'd call him, at CrossFit Rise Above where I'm at now, I got me into CrossFit. And then I seen a weightlifter by the name of Dmitry Klokov snatch 440 pounds. And I was like, that's what I want to do.
Was
like,
this at your gym?
Well, it's full circle. That's where I first started out at. And now I'm back over there now. And that's where I base Coastal out of now. Yeah.
Okay. But that guy that snatched 400,
no.
was he local?
No, he's an Olympian. So, you know, I saw that and I was like, man, this is awesome. And getting into weightlifting, I transitioned into powerlifting, you know, so I decided to do both.
Okay.
So what I do is what they call super total training. So when I go to competitions, I do the 5 lifts: snatch, the clean, squat, bench, and dead.
You do all of those in one competition?
In one competition. Yeah.
Let me ask, how do you not get tired, or I guess how do you have to prepare yourself for a competition like that? Because obviously doing one after another, it's going to wear you out.
Right. And on each lift, you have 3 attempts. So yeah, so that's a total of 15 lifts for that one day. So it's a lot of carbs, a lot of Rice Krispie treats, and a lot of candy, a lot of things like that to keep me going. Gatorade. And mentally, right? You know, you get into that zone where it's like, man, I'm tired, man, but you're not tired. You got to tell yourself you're not tired.
What kind of mental training do you do versus also having your maybe your clients do? You've got to train mentally somehow.
You do.
What exercises do you do?
So for them, I have them towards the last block, like the last segment of training for their comp.
Yeah.
It's a lot of heavy lifting because I want them to feel what heavy weight is on their back and how they feel for the grinding of that weight. For me, a lot of my mental training came from boxing, and that it's a good and a bad thing when it comes to lifting, because sometimes I don't know when to stop, And, like with boxing, when someone's hurting you, you just keep going. And weightlifting, if you get hurt, you got to stop. Or, you know what I mean? That's the big difference. If, if I feel like I pulled something, it's most likely smarter for me, especially at my ripe age of 37, to possibly have a seat and relax. But sometimes that's hard for me to do. So
right. That's the hardest thing to do, is to stop when you think you're injured, but you're not injured yet. And you're like, well, it's fine, right? Yeah, no, that can be the most challenging thing to do. And I guess like on those days when you have to recover, when you have to take a break, what do those days look like for you? Are you just, people think recovery is laying on the couch.
It's not?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's not? Oh,
it's
question
not?
mark?
Oh, man. No. So it's depending on my injury. So, when I hurt myself one time, it was my back. So it was a lot of walking, a lot of stretching. Man. I was seeing the physical therapist, and the moves they showed me I would do at home and things like that. Awful. Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah. And, here, I want to ask you, because I love to push this thing. I've seen you use it, the massage gun.
Oh, yeah.
How important is that massage gun for you?
Oh, yeah. That thing is a game changer. I thought it was just garbage at first. I was like, man, this is just some kind of gimmick.
Right. But I said the same thing.
But when I used it, I was like, man, is it going to heal you or cure you? No, not at all. But, like, if you got a little cramp somewhere or whatnot, then, that'll help out for the time being. Or if you're tight in a certain area, especially, like, right. around here for me, my chest and my shoulder, it helps out.
Now, for runners, like, I use it, like, I don't necessarily use it after I run, because it could, I've read different places, it could damage some tissue if you do it right after you run. There's a lot of controversy on that, but I usually do it right before I run to get the muscles firing.
Right.
What kind of techniques do powerlifters use? Like, could they use the massage gun to get muscles firing? Like, what would it look like to warm up for a competition, to warm up for anything that you're doing when you're powerlifting?
So when we warm up for the comps, it becomes a lot of warm-ups with the empty bar. And that's how it really should be at the gym. You probably, a lot of people, I see people just get to the gym, they'll do that little stretch where they grab their foot, put it behind their leg, okay, cool. And the next thing you know, you blink and 225s on the bar. And it's like, dang, you know what I mean? Like,
couple arm swings. And
stuff like that is good until it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can get by with that, but for so long, even the greatest lifters, they'll start with an empty bar. And, if you're in a squat, sit in the bottom of your squat, open your hips up, if you're doing some bench, getting your timing and your groove going, that's very important before you start slapping weight on. I don't understand that.
There's a lot of people that do that. And you'll watch it. You watch it throughout the gym. Now, with common injuries, we always have to discuss injuries because it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
For powerlifters, what are some of the most common, and I guess how long do they take to overcome?
Common injuries. That's funny because it's the whole body. Just everywhere it hurts.
Oh no.
I would say the least amount of injuries would be like knees and things like that, but I would say more shoulder.
Interesting.
And like back. Back in like shoulders, I would see, or elbows. Wow. Yeah, a lot of that's just repetitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we get into the whole talk of, is there such thing as overtraining or under resting, right? You know what I mean? So that's that's another topic. I just tell my kids to eat and sleep right. That's if you could do that, you're fine. You know what I mean? And for them, it's like powerlifting is not about like, it's about being healthy, right?
Yeah.
But you got to eat, and these kids don't eat enough. At all. When I work with them and I tell them, hey, look, download this app and start counting your calories. You should be somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500. They'll tell me, I'm at like 900 or I'm at 800. I thought I was eating a lot today. I'm like, nah, man, you gotta eat. And I tell people how much I eat, and they're like, man, how do you eat that much? It's a habit now. It's something I'm used to doing, but I have to do it. Yeah. And when I don't do it, I notice it.
Yeah, it's so funny. Nutrition makes the world of difference. Yeah. Now, let me ask, what kind, like for runners, debatable. A lot of people like to do keto running, and I try not to speak on that because I like potatoes. But For you, for powerlifting, what does a day of eating look like for you? Like, what kind of food are you eating? Are you watching like the content? Like you said, Rice Krispies, so I'm guessing you don't really care. Like, what kind? A carb is a carb, sugar, you know. But like, what does it look like for you? Like, what's breakfast, lunch, dinner, shakes? Do you like shakes? Like, what does that look like?
So I don't like shakes, but I use them.
Okay.
So my breakfast in the morning, I eat those waffles, the Kodak waffles. I think they're called Kodiak.
Kodiak, yeah, with the protein in there, right?
Yeah. And then I eat these burritos that also have protein. Protein's a big part of my diet.
It's huge.
But you know, carbs as well, because carbs are energy. You shouldn't be afraid of carbs. Everybody's afraid of carbs.
Everyone's always afraid of carbs. I don't understand that.
I don't understand that. That became something, you know. And it's even my own doctor, you know, he's like, man, your cholesterol must be crazy. You know, my total cholesterol is 140. You know, so like, you know, that's not. I don't think that's bad.
I don't think that's bad.
No. So, you know, I like to eat a lot of oatmeal. I like to eat things, you know, high protein, like, you know, steak, chicken, you know, rice, things like that.
And I mean, like, when it comes to shakes, because you say you didn't like them, which ones do you, what did you end up drinking?
I end up drinking because
people look all over for shakes.
Because I'm always on the go and stuff like that. So like drinking something with milk is not the best idea for me, because it may be sitting out for a while or something like that. So I used it's ISOPure. It's unflavored.
Oh, you just throw it in your water?
And I throw it in my water, yeah.
Interesting. I've never heard. Well, I've heard of ISOPure. I just couldn't tell you. Think about unflavored water. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it has a chalky flavor to it. You know what I mean? But it's better than mixing like the chocolate and vanilla with water. That is disgusting.
Oh, I've seen so many people do that, and I just don't understand it. Like they are better people than I am.
No, I cannot do that.
I can't do that.
Because I tried that too before. Because me and milk don't really get along too well as far as that goes. So I kind of like stay away from it. And you know, the whole water thing with like, you know, vanilla or chocolate, I'm like, this is horrible.
Yeah, no, it's kind of interesting because a lot of people have turned like to oat milk or almond milk. I personally like oat milk, but I heard somebody the other day say they get bloated after they drink oat milk because of the oats, and I had never heard that before. When I eat oatmeal, I don't get bloated. So like, I mean, I guess, you know, warning out there to each your own. Like if you're feeling bloated or gross, it could be an oat milk problem. I don't know. I've never heard that before. But you know, it is what it is. Now with your kids, when you say they're not eating enough, what are they lacking more of? Protein, carbs,
calories in general.
Calories in general. But what if they're adding it up? Do they need more protein?
In the grand scheme of things, yeah.
Because like carbs are pretty easy to eat. A lot of. So like protein, I can assume like, you know, at lunch they're gonna have a pizza, probably cheese pizza, and it's just carbs on top of carbs and some fat in the cheese.
Well, cheese pizza, like you just said, that's the thing. At school, they don't really. I remember it was many moons ago when I was in school, but the food was not really that good.
It's not good.
And the food that was good, you know, cost a few dollars, a little more expensive to get.
Yeah.
So I don't know how easily accessible the school lunch has become, or how much better flavor or quality has become.
Right, and you never know either. Like, especially now with the pandemic, like, are they even allowing people to have more than food, or do they have like box sandwiches right now? You know, and that's just all gross food. That's just deli. I don't know. You know, either way, you have to pack your lunch. You have to be super strict on your nutrition. Now, kind of coming to the end of the podcast, I want to ask you a question. And, you know, this could be anything. This could be something, you know, that you do or something that you'd like to do. It is, what habit or routine that you do every single day that helps you or allows you to run your life so life doesn't run you. It like helps you take control of your life every day, mentally and physically.
That's another great question.
Yeah.
The gym, you know, being able to lift, you know, just you know, I know it sounds so cliche, but this is really my life. You know, I love it inside and out. You know what I mean? And that goes back to, you know, earlier about disconnection, myself included, right? You know, too much of one thing is not good, right? You know, so my day pretty much from waking my eyes open till they close, I'm thinking something related to the gym, whether it's programming, it's ideas, it's my own training, it's, you know, my athletes, you know, something, competition coming up or whatnot. So I need that disconnect as well. But and the flip side of it, you know, that helps me run my life. You know, I need that to be part of my life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you're the first one that's actually brought up the gym. Most people will say meditation, which I think is a great one. But you're the first person that's actually said the gym itself. And it's just so important, too, because like now people like don't know if they want to go to the gyms again, or if they should, or if they shouldn't. They're trying to do all other alternative means of, you know, pills and diets. But the gym is just so important on its own, whether you like it or
Right.
not. So that's an awesome one. Now, if people want to find you, where do they find you?
Oh, they can check me out on my website, www.coastalstrengthandbarbell.com. I am renting a space over at CrossFit Rise Above at 1054 Cypress Avenue, Melbourne, Florida.
Nice.
My social media, Facebook and Instagram, the same name, Coastal Strength and Barbell. Yeah.
You got it on all social platforms. That's awesome.
Yeah, trying to.
Mine used to be different. Now they're all the same.
hitting it on all avenues.
I love it. Awesome. Well, Isaac, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And good luck in the rest of all your endeavors.
Thank you. I appreciate you.